Yeah. Now, in chapter 15, the remaining descendants of Bharata Maharaj or Priyavrata are mentioned. If you remember in the first chapter, we discussed that Swayambhuva Manu had two children, two boys, three girls, Priyavrata and Uttanapada. Both of them went to Gurukul. Priyavrata, though eldest, stayed in Gurukul only. Uttanapada came back, became king. After him, Dhruva ruled. After Dhruva, Vastara ruled. Vastara ke baad aur aisa ruled. Many. And then King Anga, King Vena, then eventually Prutu. Then after few kings later, there is Prachina Barhi, then Prachetas. And Prachetas had Daksha as their son. Daksha supposed to rule. He did not rule. He went to forest giving up the kingdom. There was no one to rule. Then Swayambhu Manu goes to Narada Muni's ashram and requests Priyavrata to come home and rule. Because there was no one qualified to rule over the entire Bhumandala. Initially, Priyavrata says no. But later on, Brahma comes and tells, this is Lord's desire. You please come and do the needful. Then he comes home, gets married, rules. He also begets children. After him, Agnidra rules. After Agnidra, Nabi rules. Batao. After Nabi, Rishabdev rules. After Rishabdev, Bharat Maharaj rules. After Bharat Maharaj, who ruled till the end of the Manvantara, is mentioned in this chapter. Okay. So, by the last name, Viraja, the Swayambhuva Manvantara gets completed. And then Bhagavatam does not talk about elaborately about second, third, fourth, fifth Manvantaras. It goes to describe sixth Manvantara. That too, in the sixth Manvantara, somewhere in the middle, there was a Pralaya. Just before that, Lord Matsya appears to King Satyavrata and he talks about the Pralaya. After the Pralaya, the entire creation has been destroyed. Then there was no one. Lord Brahma empowers Daksha, who was performing austerity since the middle of first Manvantara. On my behalf, you recreate the three planetary systems. Then Daksha begins to recreate. That comes in the fourth chapter of the sixth canto. So what happened in the second half of the sixth Manvantara? That's where Bhagavatam continues. In between Manvantaras, there is no much discussion. There is mention about what Manvantara is that, etc. in the eighth canto, but not details in detailed description of the kings. Okay. For this information, you refer to Tattva Vichar. So it's like that.
I'm always present in the books.
Sukadeva Goswami said,
No, Prabhuji.
the Bhagavatam is present in Tattva Vichar, not me. The son of Bharata, named Sumati, followed the path of Lord Rishabha. What was the path of Rishabha? Being naked, traveling like Avaduta. So Sumati also followed same thing. He followed his grandfather. Some inferior sinful heretics, while imagine him by their own minds to be Buddha, who is not approved by the Vedas. That time, since Sumati followed the same way Rishabhadeva followed, and some inferior people consider him to be Buddha. Buddha of that time. They treat him like Buddha. But that is not the correct Shastra. From Sumati, a son named Devatajit was born by the womb of his wife named Ruddasena. Of course, before Sumati could follow that, it seems that he ruled for some time, he married, and they also had a son, Devata Jit. So then later on, after Sumati, Devata Jit became king. Thereafter, in the womb of Asuri, the wife of Devata Jit, a son named Deva Jumna was begotten. He ruled for some time. Devadumna begot in the womb of his wife Dhenumati, a son named Parameshti. Parameshti ruled for some time. Then Parameshti begot a son, Pratita, in the womb of his wife Suvarchala. Then Pratita ruled for some time.
Question that every time king ka hi dynasty batate hai. So king are administrators, which are important. The Brahmanas are also very important in society from the beginning of creation also. So why there is no mention of any Brahmana dynasty kind of?
Brahmana's life is full of austerities, filled with full of austerities. If scriptures are only talking about full of austerity stories, no one will read. Scripture should have adventure stories, then people read. So in that way, the kingly stories are mentioned. उनका जीवन में शुरू से एंड तक पूरा ऑस्टेरिटी है, कौन सुनेगा? तपस्या तपस्या तपस्या. सो एडवेंचर रहना चाहिए. इसलिए किंग्स का स्टोरीज, देयर शुड बी फाइट, देयर शुड बी रोमांस, and there should be compassion, there should be mistakes. It's like that. A king's life is a typical life everyone can relate to, but Brahmana's life everyone cannot relate to. So in that way.
And Vaishya का भी नहीं रहता है.
In one sense, except ruling everything else, वैश्य जीवन में भी वही है ना, उनका भी बिजनेस करना भी एक स्ट्रगल है ना. तस्मा सर्वात्मना राजन हरि सर्वत्र, नहीं, व्हाट इज दैट? नहीं वो नहीं. भगवद गीता चैप्टर 8 टेक्स्ट नंबर 7. तस्मा सर्वेषु कालेषु मां अनुस्मर युद्धच. फॉर अर्जुन इट इज मां अनुस्मर युद्धच. फॉर अदर्स तस्मा सर्वेषु कालेषु मां अनुस्मर, whatever duties belongs to one, one should do one's duties. So like that. Kings are always adventurous. That's why they are kings. Have Brahmanical qualities also, the qualities of the lower modes also. Brahmanas by definition they are supposed to be always in the mode of goodness. They are a personality made up of mode of goodness. But Kshatriyas are both mode of passion and mode of goodness. Vaishyas are mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Shudras are mode of ignorance only. Mode of ignorance utna useful nahi. Mode of goodness is a transcendental platform. There should be in the middle. So Kshatriyas are having mode of goodness also, mode of passion also.
This modes and the varnas, how is it correlated?
Action based on the activity.
Do we have the reference for this?
Oh yeah, but 18th chapter, text number 41 to 45, the duties of the four varnas are mentioned. In that section, our acharyas give that modes. They mention the modes. Their activities itself indicative of the, of course, the people who are of that conscience only perform that activities. Mismatch नहीं होता ना. जिनका मन जो है वही ऐसा एक्टिविटी करते हैं ना. जो पैशनेट है पैशनेट एक्टिविटी करते हैं, जो सात्विक है सात्विक एक्टिविटी करते हैं. ये मिसमैच नहीं होता है. King Pratita taught the principles of self-realization and becoming purified realize the Supreme Lord. King Pratita is a great devotee. About him there is a small. He learnt Atma Vidya and realized the Supreme Lord and went back to Godhead. Anu Sasmara means he realized or attained the Supreme Lord. Anu Sasmara or Anusmara, he continuously able to remember the Lord because he realized him. In the womb of his wife Suvarchala, Pratita begot 3 sons named Pratihartha, Pratoshta, and Udgata. Expert in performing sacrifice. They became Brahmana, seems to that. Pratihara begot 2 sons. Udgata was expert in performing sacrifice. He became Brahmana, but remaining 2 must be Kshatriyas. The eldest one is Pratihara. He begot 2 sons named Aja and Bhuma in the womb of his wife named Tuti. The 3 sons Pratihara, Pratosha, and Udgata were expert in sacrifice.
Bhuma's wife is Tuti.
Pratihara begot 2 sons named Aja and Bhuma. These are 2 sons. In the womb of his wife Stuti. Whose wife? Pratihara's wife Stuti. Pratihartha. Then, in the womb of his wife Rushikulya, King Bhuma begot a son named Udgita. From Udgita's wife, whose name is Devakulya, a son named Prastava was born. And Prastava begot a son named Vibhu through his wife Niyushta. In the womb of his wife Rati, Vibhu begot a son named Prutusena. Prutusena begot a son named Nakta in the womb of his wife named Akoti. Nakta's wife was Druti, and from her womb the great king Gaya was born. Gaya is the son of Nakta and Druti. Gaya is also one more great devotee. Gaya, the best saintly king of great fame, was a portion of Vishnu. Sakshat Bhagavato Vishnu. Gaya is a partial expansion of Lord Vishnu. Situated in Vishuddha Sattva, who appeared for protecting the universe. He was a great personality with symptoms such as knowledge of the Lord. Kala Atmavatvad the Lakshanena Praptaha. Kalatmavatwadi Lakshanena Praptaha. Basically, is an empowered incarnation of Supreme Lord Vishnu, and he had all the opulences in that sense. Hridaya Ja means a sun. Kala here means a portion of a portion. Amsha Kala, you remember? Amsha is a portion, Kala is a portion of the portion. King Gaya, without ego, Nirabhimana, realizing Brahman in himself and devoid of false conception, ruled the world. His pure mind was constantly filled with love for the Lord through Bhakti Yoga, achieved by service to the devotees. He was serving devotees, serving the Lord also, which was endowed with the spiritual quality of offering everything unto the Supreme Lord. Yat karoshi yatashnashi, yat juoshi tadashyat, yat tapashisi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. So that's what he was able to do because of his wonderful qualities. Bhagavan, Brahman, the source, if high and low, Bhagavan, Brahman, the source of high and low creatures, through performing sacrifice and executing dharma, in the form of protecting, nourishing, satisfying, caressing, and chastising the citizens. Okay, actually it is like this. His pure mind was constantly filled with love for the Lord through Bhakti Yoga, achieved by service to the devotees, which was endowed with the spiritual quality of offering everything to the Supreme Lord, who is Bhagavan, who is Brahman, who is the source of high and low creatures, through performing sacrifices and executing dharma. How did he perform devotional service unto Lord? By performing sacrifices and by executing dharma. In the form of what kind of dharma he performed? Protecting the praja palana, protecting the praja, and nourishing the praja poshana, satisfying the praja prinana, and caressing the praja upalalana, okay, and chastising the citizens, praja anushasana. By all these things, he executed his Kshatriya dharma and also performed sacrifices for the service for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. These are the wonderful characteristics of King Gaya, who is an expansion of the Supreme Lord. He protected the citizens by crushing the enemy. He nourished them by giving them jobs, by offering employment. वैसे ही हो ना, nourishment होगा, सबको employment मिलेगा तो सब कुछ रहेगा. By offering dharma to the Lord, it becomes spiritual. His pure mind was completely endowed with bhava. Upa ratanatmya means devoid of thinking on self, the body. Uparata anatmya, giving up one is the body, giving the mentality that one is the body. O King Parikshit, scholars of the Puranas glorify King Gaya with the following verses. So there are two verses glorify the wonderful activities of King Gaya. What king can imitate King Gaya by his activities? Who accept a portion of the Lord is so expert in sacrifice, respected by all, learned of all scriptures, a protector of dharma, wealthy, the leader of the assembly of devotees, and a servant of all devotees. These are all different attributes and qualities of the Gaya. And who else but a portion of the Lord can be like this? Ordinary people cannot be like this. Gaya is like this because he is a portion of the Supreme Lord. There is no other reason. Pratiyati means imitate. Abhimani means respected in all ways. He was leader of the assembly of devotees. What other person other than a portion of the Lord could imitate Gaya? So like that. Even in the case of Prithu Maharaj also, not Prithu, Priyavrata Maharaj. Who else other than Supreme Lord can do such kind of activity of dividing the Bhumandala into 7 division by expanding oneself as second son? The chaste daughters of Daksha. This is happening in the first Manvantara. During first Manvantara, Daksha had 16 daughters. The 16th one was Sati. 13 were given in marriage to Dharma. One was given to Agni Devatas, one was given to Pitru Devatas, one was given to Lord Shiva. Total 16. The chaste daughters of Daksha, whose blessings must come true, bathed King Gaya, because King Gaya is not different from Supreme Lord only. They bathed him, who had no desire, with great satisfaction, using water. The earth, whose udders flowed on seeing Gaya's good qualities, which were like a calf, gave all desires to the citizens. पृथु महाराज पास्ट टाइम याद है क्या? पृथु महाराज का पास्ट टाइम याद है? पृथु महाराज by making Swayambhu Manu at the calf, he milked all the necessary grains required for the human beings. Like all other living entities also milked whatever they needed from earth. Earth was cow. Here, Gaya's good qualities are the calf. Only when there is a calf, the cow gives milk. So Gaya's good qualities are the calf, and Mother Earth is cow. And because the good qualities of Gaya are so pleasing, the Mother Earth gave abundant facilities, abundant prosperity. So in that way, the entire kingdom was prosperous during that time. Sati stands for Satya. The daughters of Daksha were Shraddha, Maitri, etc. Their blessings came true. This means that Shraddha gave faith and Maitri gave friendship. The earth gave all desirable to the citizens of Gaya who had no desires. Gaya has no selfish desires, but people, whatever they needed, everything is produced by Mother Earth because Gaya's qualities are so wonderful. So like that. Then third verse. The Vedas yielded all desires to King Gaya, who had no desires. All kings, satisfied with his fighting during war, offered tribute to King Gaya. The Brahmanas, respected by charity, offered him 1/6 of their piety for the next life. So the Vedas personified yielded all desires to King Gaya, who even though he does not have any desires. All the kings, neighbor kings, who fought with him sometimes. So King Gaya would not kill them unnecessarily. He would defeat them and leave them with life. So they were very much happy with his good conduct. They paid tribute and they accepted his sovereignty, his subordination. So like that. And Brahmanas were happy with his charity and offered him 1/6 of their piety unto him. So like that. The kings worshipped by his arrows during battle offered tribute. The Brahmanas worshipped by charity offered 1/6 of the results of their pious acts as blessings to the king for the next world. It's like that. Smriti says, Punyam Shadbhagam Adatte Nyayena Paripalayan. The king who rules with justice receives 1/6 of the citizens' pious activities. Any master, whoever takes care of their subordinates properly, the master will receive 1/6 of piety of the subordinates. It may be king, it may be the parents, it may be teacher, it may be anyone, guru, anyone. It is like that. When Indra became drunk at the sacrifice of King Gaya from drinking too much Somarasa, the Supreme Lord, the soul of sacrifice, accepted the results of worship offered with faith and pure steady devotion. That means he performed a sacrifice which yielded so much Somarasa that all the devatas, especially Indra, became intoxicated by drinking so much Somarasa. So like that. Matlab, his sacrifice is so great that he produced unlimited Somarasa. And Lord also pleased to accept gifts during that sacrifice. When Indra became drunk with Soma in the sacrifice, the Lord accepted the offerings. the Lord accepted those offerings as worship directly. Lord personally came and accepted his offerings in their sacrifice.
Generally, he does not come directly.
Generally, it does not come. When it is offered to the fire, it goes to the Lord. When the Lord is pleased, immediately all devatas, animals, humans, plants, grass, and all the beings up to Brahma become satisfied. Yasmin tushte, Jagat tushte. The Lord, the life of the universe, the very form of satisfaction, Pritaha Swayam, became satisfied at the sacrifice of King Gaya. What else one want? The Lord, by pleasing whom all the beings are pleased, who is the very form of satisfaction, showed his satisfaction. I am satisfied at the sacrifice along with all the beings of the universe. Lord personally appeared, accepted a gift, and expressed his satisfaction in the sacrifice. This is about King Gaya. King Gaya is one of the glorious personality because he is an expansion of the Supreme Lord, like Rishabdev. In the womb of Gayanti, Maharaj Gaya begot 3 sons named Chitrarata, Sugati, Avarodhana. In the womb of his wife Urna, Chitrata begot a son named Samrat. The wife of Samrat was Utkala, and in her womb, Samrat begot a son named Marichi. In the womb of his wife Bindumati, Marichi begot a son named Bindu. In the womb of his wife Saraga, Bindu begot a son named Madhu. In the womb of his wife named Sumana, Madhu begot a son named Veeravrata. In the womb of his wife Boja, Veeravrata begot 2 sons named Mantuhu and Pramantu. In the womb of his wife Satya, Mantu begot a son named Bhavana. And in the womb of his wife Dhushana, Bhavana begot a son named Tvashta. In the womb of his wife Virochana, Tvashta begot a son named Viraja. The wife Viraja was Visuchi, and in her womb, Viraja begot 100 sons and 1 daughter. The wife of Viraja was Visuchi, and in her womb, Viraja begot 100 sons and 1 daughter. Of all these sons, the son named Shatajit was predominant. So that is thus all the way up to Viraja's 100 sons. And there is a famous shloka about King Viraja. Because of his wide fame, King Viraja was produced 100 sons, decorated the dynasty of King Priyavrata, just as Lord Vishnu decorates the Devatas. Priyavratam Vamshamimam Virajas Charamodbhava Akarod Ati Alam Kirtya Vishnu Suraganam Yata.
मतलब ऋषभदेव के बाद फेमस किंग गया है, और उनके बाद उसके बाद विराजा.
Of course, Bharata Maharaj is famous, na?
हाँ, भरत महाराज,
Rishabdev, Bharata Maharaj, and Anga and Viraja. Anga nahi, unka naam kya tha? Gaya and Viraja. These are all famous kings in the dynasty. So like that, bas utna hi. So Viraja is the last person, and his understanding of the last person. So like that, the descendants of Priyavrata were mentioned in this chapter. So with that, the description of Visarga is complete. What happened, how living entities are produced and continued further during the Swayambhu Manvantara was discussed. Uttanapada descendants were discussed in the 4th canto, and Priyavrata descendants were discussed in the 5th canto. And now, from 16th chapter to 26th chapter, the structure of the universe has been presented. 16th chapter talks about the description of Jambhudvipa. The 16th chapter describes the dimensions of Jambhudvipa, which is the middle of the 7 Dvipas of the Bhumandala, and the Mount Meru, which is in the middle of the 9 Varshas of Jambhudvipa and the 9 mountains. We have seen in the first chapter that Prithvi Maharaj divided the Bhumandala into 7 Dvipas by creating 7 oceans. Of the 7 Dvipas, the middlemost Dvipa is Jambhudvipa. And within Jambhudvipa, there are 9 mountains and 9 Varshas. And there is also Mount Meru. So all these things will be discussed in the chapter 16. So initially the topic begins by an inquiry made by Parikshit Maharaj. And then Sukadeva Goswami describes the Jambhudvipa, Mount Meru, the 9 Varshas. Then he goes into details about Ilavruta Varsha, one of the 9 Varshas. And also who is the living on the top of Mount Meru. All these things are briefly presented in this chapter. Rajo Vacha Uktastaya Bhumandalayama Vishesho Yavad Adityastapati Yatra Chasau Jyotisham Ganais Chandrama va saha dushyate. King Parikshit said, so my dear great sage Sukadeva Goswami, you have described the specific dimensions of Bhumandala, which extends as far as the sun shines, and within which the moon, along with the other luminaries, are seen. In that chapter, the sun was revolving around, and Priyavrata became the second sun, he was also revolving around. To the extent sun was revolving around, to that extent Priyavrata also revolved. So the Bhumandala consisting of 7 Varshas and 7 Dvipas and 7 oceans is the area where sun is there. And because of sun, we get to see the moon, stars, and other things in the same area. So like that. He's just referring to what he spoke in the beginning.
I have one question. Moon, the planet moon. As per the Bhagavatam, or as per the Vedic, not of the modern.
नहीं दोनों सेम ही है. जो भागवत में जो मॉडर्न है जो हम देखते हैं सब सेम ही है, सब एक ही है, एक ही मून. They are not अलग.
Which revolves around the earth.
Yeah, which revolves around the earth. Yes.
There is no other moon.
There is no other moon. There is only one moon in our universe. The same moon only talked in the Bhagavatam, talked in the modern science, talked by observed by all of us every day.
So this moon, जब moon की बात करते हैं तब on in other planets there is no other moon.
No. They may say that Jupiter has 12 moons, this, that. They are like satellites which are moving around them, but they are not supposed to be called as moon. Moon means, according to modern science, the satellite, which is like the secondary graha, upagraha. But in scriptures, moon is one of the navagrahas. So in that way. King Parikshit inquires about the dimensions of the islands and oceans, which he heard about in the story of the Priyavrata, after that topic was completed in 5:30. In 5th canto, 1st chapter, 30th verse, it was said that Priyavrata Maharaj divided the Bhumandala into 7 Dvipas. That time he heard, but he did not raise a question then. He wanted to hear the pastimes of Priyavrata and his subsequent descendants. After that topic is completed, now he is raising the question. You want to get into details. The breadth of the Bhumandala extends as far as the sun shines, and within which the moon and other luminaries are seen. Matlab they are also inside this area only, within this area. Then Parikshit Maharaj asks question. In Bhumandala, 7 oceans were created by the 7 ditches made by the wheel of Priyavrata's chariot, from which 7 Dvipas of Bhumandala, each with a distinctive construction, appeared, which was described in the first chapter. O great devotee, now I desire to know all about the oceans and islands with their measurements and qualities. Manata Lakshanata cha. Sarvameta Dakilam Manata Lakshanata cha. So whatever divisions you mentioned in the first chapter which were made by Priyavrata Maharaj, now I want to know about them in detail. You just mentioned their names only, but now I want to know them about them in more detail way. In that way. 7 seas were created, from which 7 islands, each of distinctive construction, belonging to the Bhumandala, were formed. I desire to know all about the oceans and islands. Why Priyavrata Maharaj wants to know about all of them? We will tell in the next words. This is how we see. Mount Meru was there, one side sun was there, other side Priyavrata becoming sun, created what? 7 oceans. But by separating the Bhumandala into 7 Dvipas. So in that way. Why Parikshit Maharaj wants to know all these things? Bhagavato Gunamaya Stula Rupa Avishesham Manohi Agunepi Sukshmatamam Atma Jyoti Pare Brahmani Bhagavati Vasudevakye Kshamam Aveshatum Tadu Haitad Guru Rahasi Anuvarna Itumiti. It says that, O Guru, the mind fixed on Lord's gross form, made up of matter. Basically, the entire universe is considered to be Bhagavato Stula Rupam, Lord's gross universal form. The entire universe is nothing but Lord's gross universal form. He says that by hearing about the gross universal form of the Lord, the mind can absorb itself in the Supreme Brahman, Bhagavan, Vasudeva, the light of the soul, who is beyond matter. Therefore, we should explain the structure of the universe. Etad anuvarnayitum arhasi. Because whatever we hear, we meditate upon that. So please speak about the universe, which is gross universal form of the Supreme Lord, so that people can meditate upon the gross universal form of the Supreme Lord. Kiska universal form? Lord's ka. Who is the Lord? Then they will be connected to Supreme Lord in that way. This verse states the result of such inquiry. The word Maya by me is not used. That means Parikshit Maharaj is not telling that for me, you tell me. He is not asking for himself because he is already Krishna conscious. He already meditating on Krishna. You don't have to meditate on universal form. But he is asking this question for some other people. That is mentioned below. King Parikshit does not say that by fixing my mind on the Lord's gross form. He did not say that. This indicates that King Parikshit asked the question not for himself, but at the request of Bhakti Mishra yogis present at the gathering, who desire to concentrate their minds upon the gross universal form. Parikshit Maharaj requesting Priyavrata Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami to describe the details of the 7 Dvipas, 7 oceans and other things of the universe, not for himself, but for the benefit of the Bhakti Mishra yogis who are sitting in that assembly. They need to meditate upon the universal form because some of them could not meditate upon Paramatma. Those who cannot meditate on Paramatma, they are requested to meditate on universal form. So in order to help them, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, please speak about this gross universal form of the universe so that the yogis who are sitting in the assembly can be benefited by that, for their benefit. I, however, drink with my ears the honey of the topics of the Lord flowing from your lotus mouth. That is my way of attaining the Lord. I will hear Lila Avatara Katha. But for the Bhakti Mishra yogis, they need to hear about Virat Rupa Katha. So please speak Virat Rupa for their benefit.
So by fixing their mind, they will also like Krama Mukti.
They will attain Krama Mukti. By meditating universal form, they will become free from all the contamination. Then they will be able to meditate on Paramatma. Then they will come to Samadhi. Then with the help of Bhakti, they gradually attain Krama Mukti. Eventually they go to Brahman.
So for devotees, they understand this universal form. Yes, so it is like a meditation of the Lord only. Like we consider it in the back of the mind. It's like that only. No?
For yogis, it is for meditation. For a devotees, since we are living in this universe, and this universe has been created by Supreme Lord, it is a wonderful activity of the Supreme Lord. There are two aspects. One aspect, since we are living in the universe, we need to know about the universe. And since this universe is being created by Supreme Lord, we need to know about the wonderful activities of Supreme Lord. 4.9 Bhagavad Gita. What was that? One need to know the Divya Karma of the Supreme Lord in Tatataha. So hearing this topic is understanding the Divya Karma of the Supreme Lord. You want to understand or not?
So we learn this because the activities, to glorify the activities of Lord, means Lord creates.
Not to glorify the activities of the Lord. By hearing the glorious activities of the Lord to purify our existence.
In such topics, like instructions are not given.
Not required, na? Why you want instruction every time? कितना पालन करते हैं आप?
Usually
जो मिला उसको करने के बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो रहे हैं और कितना चाहिए आपको इंस्ट्रक्शंस?
How does this purify person?
Hearing itself will purify. How does something purifies? How does something purifies us? How does some instruction purify us?
The source of the Vani actually purifies us.
No. When instruction is put into practice,
that is Vani.
That practice purifies us. Same way, when we hear about the Supreme Lord, Lord's greatness we understand. Our faith on the Lord will increase. So our service unto the Lord will increase. That will also purify us. But what will happen by hearing this topic will come at the end of the section. Falashruti will come. It says that, what was the Falashruti? I'll read it for you. Then still, if you are not convinced, then I can't help. In the beginning, the second and third cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, I have already described how one can progress on the path of liberation, that Krama Mukti, direct Mukti, etc. In the Puranas, the universe divided into 14 parts is described as the gross body of the Supreme Lord Narayana, made of his material Maya. If one reads, kindly listen, if one reads the description of this external form of the Lord with great faith, not superficially, if one reads or studies the description of the external form of the Supreme Lord, the entire universe, with great faith, or if one hears about it or explains it to others and develops faith, bhakti, such person develops faith, bhakti, and pure intelligence. Such person will develop faith, will develop bhakti, will develop pure intelligence, and he will understand the topics of the Supreme Lord, Leelavatara Katha, which is like a Upanishad, difficult to understand. According to this verse, the Srishti Leela is easy, black and white. Leelavatara Katha is all Guhya, secret. Something is said externally, something is happening internally. One who studies Srishti Leela properly will understand Leelavatara Katha properly. If we only read Leelavatara Katha, actually it is something, we understand something else. That's why you need to read Tattva Vichar. Tattva Vichar begins with Srishti Leela, then ends with Leelavatara Katha. If we understand Srishti Leela properly, then Leelavatara Katha makes sense.
We should have series of channels. Systematic.
इधर वही हो रहा है ना, 5th canto शुरू से हम तो विचार कर रहे हैं. So it's like that. The phrase Bhagavato Gunamaya Stula Rupe indicates that the gross form of the universe made up of 3 gunas belonging to the Lord. It is thus different from the Lord. The universal form is not the Lord's transcendental form. It belongs to Lord. It is made up of Lord's Prakriti. The universe is made up of Lord's Prakriti. It belongs to Lord. It is not the universe. When people say that this universe is Lord only, the universe is nothing but not different from the Lord only. It is not like that. The universe is made up of the energy of the Lord. It belongs to the Lord. It is not the Lord. It is like that. The words in the phrase Agune api sukshmatama atma jyoti pare brahmani bhagavati are all in the same case, possessive case, indicates their equivalence. Bhagavan is Brahman. Bhagavan is the light of soul. Bhagavan is the finest. Bhagavan is situated beyond the gunas. So like that. This indicates
Light
that
of the soul is actually
Paramatma.
figurative language.
No, light of the soul is Paramatma.
The effulgence of the soul.
Yeah. If Bhagavan is there, Brahman is there, Paramatma is there. Atma Jyotishi. Atma becomes active only when there is Paramatma. So in that way. This indicates that the Lord is beyond the gunas. Oh Guru, this indicates that because you are the Guru of all the sages, you should explain this for the benefit of all the sages sitting in the assembly. The assembly also has some Bhakti Mishra yogis. For their benefit, you should do something. So like that. Then, Sukadeva Goswami, before beginning his discussion of the universe, he expresses his humility in the first verse. Navai Maharaja Bhagavato Maya Guna Vibhute Kashtam Manasa Vachasa Vadigantum Alam Vibhudayushapi. Even though if I have given the lifetime of Brahma, Vibhudayushapi, Purushas Tasmat Pradana Eneva Bhugolaka Vishesham Nama Rupa Mana Lakshanato Vakyasyamaha. He says that, O king, it is not possible. Navai alam. Even for a person with a lifespan of a Devata, Vibhuda Ayusha. Either Vibhuda could be Devata, Vibhuda could be Brahma. Even with the lifespan of Brahma also, it is difficult to understand by words or by mind the end of the transformations of Maya's gunas belonging to the Supreme Lord. It is very difficult to describe everything about this universe because the universe is so unlimited, even within the lifespan of a Devata or Brahma. Therefore, by giving a general description, Pradanyena Eva, I will explain the particulars of Bhuloka, Bhugolaka Vishesham. So the Bhugola, the Bhuloka matlab, Bhumandala, which was divided by Pravat Maharaj into 7 divisions, that I will describe you with the principal details, not every minute detail. The main important principal details only I will listen. By giving the characteristics of the name, shape, and dimensions. I'll talk about the dimensions, shape, and name of the different divisions of the Bhumandala. I cannot explain everything in detail, even if I had lifetime of Brahma. So in that way. Kastam means end. We cannot come to the end of the description of the universe. Rupa means shape or appearance. Lakshana means marking. Marking means measurements. So in that way. Okay. This is the background. Now the discussion starts. Ready for the discussion? Yo Vayam Dvipa Kuvalaya Kamala Koshabhyantara Kosho Niyuta Yojana Vishala Samavartulo Yata Pushkara Patram. संस्कृत पढ़ते पढ़ते समझ में आना चाहिए, इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन जरूरत नहीं. क्या ओके 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 बस बस कमल. The central portion within the 7 islands which are situated as the circular coverings in the lotus of Bhumandala, which is for certain this visible Jambhudvipa, is 100,000 yojanas wide and is circular like a lotus leaf. Here Sukadeva Goswami is telling that the entire Bhumandala is like a lotus flower. The 7 circular dvipas are like the set of circular petals of the lotus flower. Among all the petals, the middlemost portion of the lotus flower is Jambhudvipa, whose width is 100,000 yojanas. Niyuta means, Ayuta means 10,000, Niyuta means 100,000. And it looks like the circular lotus leaf. Samavartulo Yata Pushkara Patram. The Jambhudvipa is like circular lotus leaf, and entire Bhumandala is also like a lotus leaf. Flat. So that is the understanding. Wait, I'll show you the picture, then you will. So this is our entire universe compared to a lotus coming out of the water pond. This is the universal shell. This is the universal shell. So within that universal shell, our universe is there. And from this lotus flower, lotus stem, lotus leaf, the 14 plant systems come out. And Bhumandala is like the lotus leaf, just above the water.
Oh, so
Samavartulo
Brahma
yata
ji is
Pushkara Patram.
और जो ये है 14 planets.
पूरा मिलके 14 है, सब मिलके 14. 14 में एक भूलोका, the भूलोका is the upper portion of the lotus leaf.
Which is above the water.
Water, just above the water.
That Garbhodaka.
Garbhodaka ocean.
And below all the hellish planets.
वो बाद में, अभी नहीं, 24th chapter, तब तक.
Okay, are submerged in water. Okay, see.
तब तक don't ask, then we will discuss. So this is the lotus, in which the 14 are there, but before that we'll see the notes and go. The central portion within the 7 islands, situated as circular coverings in the lotus-like Bhumandala, which is for certain this visible Jambhudvipa, is 100,000 yojanas wide. Samavartulo yata Pushkara Patram indicates that both Bhumandala and Jambhudvipa are in circular shape. Samavartulo, Vrittam means circle. Samavartulo means equal circle. Circular shape like a lotus leaf, Pushkara Patram, generally situated just above the waters in the lake. Yes?
This lotus leaf is not to indicate a circular shape, but it is just above the water.
No. It is to indicate circular shape. It is also to indicate just above the water. Both. Also to indicate it is being flat. The Bhumandala is flat. The Bhumandala is just above the water. And Bhumandala is circular. All are indicated by the lotus leaf. Yes, sir.
Okay, so lotus leaf is a और indicative बताया है, but it is circular in shape.
Circular रहेगा ना? कभी देखा नहीं? प्रसाद खाया नहीं क्या? Lotus leaf also we use it for eating prasad. This is lotus leaf. This is the leaf, not this. This is the lotus leaf. Many times it is also used as a plate to eat prasadam.
Yes.
And what is the shape of this lotus leaf? Circular, flat, and just above the water. That will be the shape of the Bhumandala. So now, out of 14 lokas, from chapter 16 to chapter 20, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5 chapters talks about the Bhumandala only. And remaining 6 chapters talks about the remaining 13 planet systems. So it is like that. So till chapter 20, no questions about the other lokas, only Bhumandala, nothing else. So let us discuss only about Bhumandala. Upper portion of the lotus leaf. You go to the top and look downward. It looks circular disc.
What is the thickness of this?
Thickness will come later. अभी thickness नहीं, ऊपर से देख रहे हैं आप, ऊपर surface में क्या है वही दिखता है बस. When you see from the top, it looks like this. It looks like this flower. Okay. So one circular ring indicating one Dvipa. So here outside petals are there, na? All these petals looks like a circular ring. That is one Dvipa. The second layer petals, second Dvipa. Third layer petals, third Dvipa. Fourth layer petals, fourth Dvipa. Fifth layer petals, fifth Dvipa. The innermost area is Jambhudvipa. The centralmost area is Jambhudvipa. We are going to discuss about Jambhudvipa now first. Because all the other Dvipas, how they are situated, we already discussed in the first chapter. Later, Nunde chapter again talks about them. 16, 17, 18, 19. 4 chapters are talking about Jambhudvipa only. So Bhumandala is like the lotus flower, as you see from the top. The 7 islands are compared to 7 circular coverings. This is one island, the second island, third island, fourth island, fifth island, like that. The Jambhudvipa is the orl of the lotus flower, whose width is 100,000 yojanas. This is called orl. What is orl? I will show next figure. Then you will understand. Yova ayam Dvipa kolaya kamala koshabhyantara kosho nita yojana vishala samavartulo yata Pushkara Patram. So these are the circular coverings of the 7 oceans and 7 Dvipas. Previously we saw this. So now, for all our future discussions, we will use some drawing techniques which we have studied in engineering first year. Simple. One object is a 3D object. This is a 3D object. So when the 3D object is like this, when you see from this side, you see the more or less different sides of the object. But when you go this side, okay, to your right hand side and see the object, how does it visible? It will be like somewhat kind of L, and here there is a protrusion, and here there is another inverted L. This is like this, inverted L. When you see from this side, right hand side front view, it appears to be like this. You come this side, left hand side, then you see a L, and there is a one rectangle and one rectangle, one rectangle, L. Okay, and when you go to the top and look downward, you see one L here and one rectangle here, one rectangle here. This is one L, one rectangle here, one rectangle here. This is called front view. This is called left hand side view. This is called top view for the 3D object. Same. Here is one more 3D object. It's isometric view. Isometric view means see looking at an angle. So its front view is this one. So this is the front view. It looks like a L with some small protrusion in the middle. And this is right hand side view. One rectangle, one rectangle, one rectangle. From top view, one rectangle, one rectangle, one rectangle. These are 3 rectangles. But actually object is like this. So for our universe, this is our universe. This is the isometric view. Looking from above at an angle. But when you go to the top of the lotus flower, look downward. How it will be looking like? The circular lotus leaf, and there is a flower in the middle. From the top देख रहे हैं ना? Leaf भी दिखेगा बीच में. Lotus flower भी दिखेगा. And side view, whether you come this side or this side or this side, it will be same. 3D similar object, na? 3D spherical. So it will be like this. There is water, there is lotus leaf, there is stem and flower. That's all.
How did you create that?
Which one?
Top view.
Secrets. नहीं बताएंगे. After the class. Simple. One ring here, one circular ring, over flower. So now we are clear. Now what we are going to see, everything is the top view only. Top view of the Bhumandala. Bhumandala is a circular disk which is spread across the diameter of the universe, within which there are 7 Dvipas, 7 oceans. Among them, the centralmost Dvipa is Jambhudvipa. And that Jambhudvipa will be presented elaborately for the 4 chapters. We will discuss that nicely. In Jambhudvipa.
So ideally from the top view, we can't see Jambhudvipa.
We should see, why not? This is Jambhudvipa. Because it's small like that.
So it is not on the leaf, it is on the top of the lotus.
Arey yaar.
We can Jambhudvipa is on the leaf, and lotus is actually on the top. And all the planetary systems are there on the top.
But we are not discussing about them, na?
Then on the top view, if you see, the lotus will be obscuring the Jambhudvipa.
See, when you are seeing Bhumandala, only should see Bhumandala. You remove this intermediate thing. Isko discard kar do. See, when it is explained, it looks like the lotus means it is an analogy. It is not like the lotus is there.
Oh, lotus is.
The lotus is like thing is there in the upper planetary systems. This is only the Bhumandala looks like this. This look you will get in 20th chapter. After discussing all the other Dvipas, you will exactly understand how this look comes.
Look, this is not compared to the lotus of the Brahmaka and
वो lotus नहीं, उसे कुछ लेना देना नहीं.
मतलब जो जम्बूद्वीप दिखता है वो लोटस जैसे
लोटस जैसे क्यों? Because there are so many petals in circular covering. One set of petals is like one ring, one dvipa. Second set, second dvipa, like that. Because Bhumandala has multiple dvipas, so like this. One dvipa compared to one. And later on we see that even within dvipa there are so many subdivisions. There is mountain here, mountain here, mountain here. The area between 2 mountains is like the one lotus petal. That comes in the 20th chapter. So in that way. Now this lotus comparison is not about the lotus which is there in the Satyaloka. That lotus is nothing to do with. So these pictures are not, this is not for that shloka example. This is a general understanding. It has nothing to do with that previous shloka. So we are going to use some techniques of the engineering drawing so that better appreciate our discussion. So our universe is like this. But since we are discussing the Bhumandala which is in the upper surface of the lotus leaf, we have to look from the top. So when you look from the top, it looks like this. Entire universe looks like this. But remove the lotus. When you remove the lotus, what appears is a circular Bhumandala only. So in that Bhumandala, there are 7 Dvipas, 7 oceans, among them Jambhudvipa in the middle, and then we will discuss that. Okay? In Jambhudvipa, there are 9 divisions of land, each extending to a width of 9,000 yojanas, completely separated by 8 mountain ranges. So within Jambhudvipa, which is circular in shape, flat circle, there are 8 mountains, dividing that Jambhudvipa into 9 divisions of land. When a land is located between 2 water bodies, it is called Dvipa. When the same land is located between 2 mountains, it is called Varsha. So these are called Varshas because they are separated by 8 boundary mountains. Ayama here means the length. The mountain ranges include the Himalayas. The form of the Jambhudvipa is described in the Vayu Purana. Vayu Purana talks about the form of the Jambhudvipa. Dhanurva samsite gneye dve varshe dakshinottare dirghani tatra chatvari chaturasra milavartam. 2 varshas on the north and south are bow-shaped. 4 other varshas are long and Ilavrta varsha is square. Bharata varsha in the south and Uttarakuru varsha in the north are bow-shaped. The 4 long varshas are Kimpurusha, Harivarsha, Rammeka and Hiranmayani. So like that. Bhadrashva and Ketumala are also shaped like bows, bordered by Neela and Nishada mountain ranges, running horizontally and entering the sea. There is a picture. It comes next. I'll show that. Then it will become clear. Their width is 9,000 yojanas, except for Ketumala and Bhadrashva in the middle. Ilavata is 9,000 yojanas in all 4 directions from Meru, which has 16,000 yojanas base. Ilavrta, Bhadrashva and Ketumala thus 34,000 yojanas in width.
Compare the text and this diagram.
Who?
Compare the text and this diagram.
Oh, here the diagram. Here the diagram.
Yeah, now I want to see the text. I want to read that.
ऐसा नहीं होगा. हाँ जाएंगे. Later on, I'll put this diagram next to that slide, so it will be more relatable. What I did now, I put the slides, then I added the diagrams at one place while preparing. Jaldi banaya tha. So now I understand that this image should be the next to that, so that it can relate more easily. So it's like that. This is the Jambhudvipa picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are total 9 varshas, 9 mountains, 8 boundary mountains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boundary mountains, and there is Mount Meru in the middle. Okay.
The text says that 8 boundary mountains are there.
8 boundary mountains are there.
And it also says that this way they are actually there.
That is said not in the Bhagavatam but in the Vayu Purana. Vayu Purana says that 2 varshas are bow-shaped. Kuru Varsha and Bharata Varsha are like bow-shaped. Are they bow-shaped or not? Okay. 4 varshas are long. Hiranmaya, Rammeka, Hari and Kimpusha. 4 are long. Chaturasra Milavrtam. Ilavrta is square. Okay. And 2 varshas are Chaturasra Milavrtam.
Chaturasra means square.
Square.
Okay.
And 2 varshas are bow-shaped at the end, but running horizontally and enter the sea. Here bow-shaped it is, and it is horizontal and goes to the sea. So like that. That is mentioned in the Vayu Purana, not in the Bhagavatam. So this is a picture of Vayu Purana as well as Bhagavatam. And every varsha is of 9,000 yojanas in width. The total width of the Jambhudvipa is 1 lakh yojanas. From here to here, or from bottom top is 1 lakh yojanas. So Kuru Varsha is 9,000 yojanas, from here to here 9,000 yojanas. Hari Hiranmaya 9,000 yojanas. Rammeka 9,000 yojanas. Hari Varsha 9,000 yojanas. Kimpurusha Varsha 9,000 yojanas. Bharata Varsha 9,000 yojanas.
Where did this information?
It comes in the next slokas. In the purport, names came, but in the sloka, no names came. The names will come in the next subsequent shlokas. The names of the Varshas, mountain, their measurements, everything comes subsequent shlokas. After all the shlokas are over, I put this diagram. So it is like that. And the mountains are said to be 2000 yojanas width. From year to year 2000, year to year 2000, year to 2000, year to year 2000, year to year 2000, year to year 2000. So just count 9000 plus 2000, how much? So this is 11, this is 11, this is 11. Total how much?
33.
And from year to year?
33.
33 plus 33?
66.
100 minus 66?
64.
100 minus 66.
34.
34. So ilagutai 34 from year to year 34. And it is also square. So year to year also 34. Okay? Out of 34, Mount Meru at the base, it is 16,000 yojanas. 34 minus 16?
64, 16 is a
34 diameter. The mountain diameter here is 16. 34 minus 16 how much? 18 matlab here to here 9, here to here 9, here to here 9, here to here 9. That 9 is also applicable here. So like that. From here to here 34, this is 2 and this is 2. 34 plus 2 plus 2 how much? 38.
Even including the Gandhamadana and Malayavan mountains, also 2000 yojanas.
2000 kidhar? They also 2000. Every mountain is 2000. Default, except Mount Meru, remaining all 2000 yojanas wide. So 34 plus 4, 38. 100 minus 38, 62. 62 by 2, 31, 31. This is 31 from here to here 31 and here to here 31. So like that. This is how the description comes. No need to worry so much. This is Jambhudvipa, whose diameter is 1000 yojanas, 100,000 yojanas, within which there are 9 varshas separated by 8 mountains. And these are the shapes and dimensions. So like that. And their names are there, mountain names are there, varsha names are there, their dimensions are there. So like that.
So we are living in Bharatvarsha.
Abhi chod do. Where we are living will come in the 19th chapter. Abhi we don't know. We are talking about the universe in which we are living. Where we are living, we don't know as of now. For that, you need to wait till 19th chapter. Then we'll understand. कहाँ पे हम रह रहे हैं? कल चर्चा करेंगे. कल आएगा 19th chapter. Okay. Now let us go back. Okay. In Jambhudvipa, there are 9 divisions of land, each extending to a width of 9000 yojanas, completely separated by 8 mountains. This shloka only talks about 9 land divisions and 8 mountains. उनका नाम पता नहीं, वो कहाँ है, कैसे है, कुछ पता नहीं. But in the purport, our Acharya is quoting from Purana, they are giving the details in advance only. In the upcoming verses, we gave the details one by one, one by one. So next verse. In the center of these is Ilavrta Varsha. Of the 9 Varshas, the central Varsha is Ilavrta. In the center of which is Mount Meru. In the middle of Ilavrta Varsha is Mount Meru, which is the king of all the mountains. Kula Giri Raja. Made of gold. Suvarnaha. The Mount Meru is completely made up of gold. Whose height is the length of the Jambhudvipa. The total length of Jambhudvipa is 100,000 yojanas. That is the height of the Meru mountain. And which acts at the pericap of the lotus-like Bhumandala. When you compare the entire Bhumandala like a lotus, the pericap of the lotus is Mount Meru. The orl of the lotus is Jambhudvipa. So what is pericap, what is orl? You may get doubt. That comes in the next slide. I'll show you. This is the whole lotus, which is compared to the Bhumandala. Different layers are compared to different dvipas. This is the orl. This entire region is called orl of the lotus. That is compared to Jambhudvipa. In the middle of that orl, there is pericap. This is compared to the Mount Meru. Mount Meru will be like this. At the bottom, it is small. As you go upward, it becomes bigger and bigger. उधर देखो मुझे Mount Meru will be like that. Even this flower is there in the garden. Like that. So like that. This is the mountain.
Truncated cone.
Truncated cone, upside down cone. Okay. At its top, on the top of the Mount Meru, it measures 32,000 yojanas. And at the base, it measures 16,000 yojanas. It extends 16,000 yojanas within the earth. Here, the diameter is 32,000 yojanas. Here, the diameter is 16,000 yojanas. Out of 1 lakh yojanas, 16,000 yojanas is inside Jambhudvipa, inside the surface of the earth, and 84,000 above the surface of the Jambhudvipa. This is like the basement portion. For any building, if you want to construct multiple stories, that much is going below also. So, thoda bahut bhi niche jana chahiye. So, this is inside the Bhumandala, and this is above the Bhumandala. This is a visible part of the Mount Meru, 84,000 yojanas. Okay.
Almost. This mountain is close to 3,000 yojanas and the bottom as a base, having 32,000 yojanas as its top. It is holding like that. It is that structure.
Yes, it is like this. A flower kabhi dekha nahi kya?
No flower dekha, but
बस
structurally 3,000 yojanas is the base. 32,000
नहीं
yojanas.
three कैसे होगा base?
I mean, if you extend the thing,
Oh, yeah.
84,000
from here to it become half. 84,000 के लिए it become half. 16,000 के लिए कितना half का हिसाब भी नहीं होगा. It will be like 15,000 almost at here. 15 or 14,000. Not so come.
Okay.
16 5 is 80 na? 1:5 ratio. Here it is becoming half. So it will be reduced by half by 5. So 1/10 it will reduce. 1/10 it will reduce.
1/5 of the difference.
No, 16 में से 1/10 it will reduce. That means 1.6 it will reduce. It will become 14.4. Base it will be 14.4. It's like that. Nabyam means inside. The island Jambhudvipa is 100,000 yojanas long. That is also the height of the Mount Meru. 100,000 yojanas. At the base, the mountain spreads out for 16,000 yojanas. Since it extends 16,000 yojanas within the earth, 84,000 yojanas of the Meru is visible above the ground.
जितना जम्बूद्वीपा है उतना ही हाइट.
उतना height. Total mountain का height उतना है, but ऊपर 84,000 visible, 16,000 inside basement. That's why Lord Krishna what Lord Krishna says in 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita? English nahi. Krishna did not say in English. Meru Shikarina Maham. Among the high peaked mountains, I am Mount Meru. Among the tallest mountains, I am Mount Meru. So उसके tallest कोई और नहीं. यही tallest है हमारा अंडर यूनिवर्स में. भूल गए भगवत गीता पूरा. हाँ ऐसे कैसे? हाँ आपको एग्जाम ठीक से लिया नहीं. Now pay attention. Just north of Ilavrita and going further northward, one after the other, are 3 mountains named Neela, Shweta, Shringavan. In the north side of Mount Meru, there are 3 mountains, Neela, Shweta, Shringavan. These mark the borders of the 3 Varshas named Ramyaka, Hiranyaya, and Kuru, which are separated by one after the other. The width of these mountains is 2,000 yojanas high. Lengthwise, they extend east and west to the ocean of salt water. यहाँ पे ओशन से वहां पे ओशन तक जाएगा. जहाँ पे वो रहेगा उतना लेंथ रहेगा. तो ज्योमेट्री के हिसाब से हम निकाल सकते हैं उसको कितना है. The length of each mountain decreases by a little more than 10% compared to the previous mountain. 3 mountains are there na? First mountain is 10%, next mountain is 10% less. Next mountain 10% less the previous mountain. It's like that. First one is like 100,000 yojanas. Second one is 90,000 yojanas. Third one is more or less 80,000 yojanas, something like that. थोड़ा कम होता रहेगा. North of Ilavrita are the mountain ranges starting with Neela.
It's with the exact circular dimensions.
Exactly. You take the measurements and then do it. The mountains extend on the east and west to the salt ocean. The mountains after Neela become shorter than 100,000 yojanas by a little over 10% each. The first mountain is approximately 100,000 yojanas because it's very close to diameter. Second would be little less than 90,000. Third would be little less than 80,000. So like that. Here you see. From here to here it is 100,000 yojanas. And here to here it is 50,000 yojanas. And here to here it is 80,000 yojanas. 18.
What did that number come?
Okay. Mount Meru diameter how much at the base?
16.
After the 16, the radius will be 8. Plus Ilavarta Varsha is 9,000 yojanas. 8 plus 9?
17.
The mountain will be 2,000 yojanas. The middle of the mountain? 1,000. So 8 plus 9 plus 1, 18,000 yojanas. And this is 50, this is 18. And what would be this one from here to here?
So that whatever the point 18 which we have drawn, that is like the mid of
middle of the mountain. Obviously, middle ko lena padega na. So GA is equal to 2 times DA. GAG is equal to the length of Neela mountain AG is equal to 2 times AD. 2 times square root of AO square minus OD square. Okay? That is equal to 93.3 kilo yojanas. A simple Pythagoras formula. Trigonometry.
No, I'm not saying that. AG is equal to 2 times.
AG matlab A is here, G is here. The total length of the mountain is twice to the half length. Because we know this distance, we know this distance. So we can calculate this distance. Multiply with 2, you get total distance. 2 times square root of AO square minus OD square. That is 93.3 kilo yojanas.
That is AG.
For BH, here to here 18 na, and here to here 29. Because afterward the year 1000 mountain is there, 1000 mountain here, in between 9,000 yojanas, second Varsha is there. 9 plus 1 plus 1, 11. 18 plus 11, 29. So 50 square minus 29 square, square root into 2. 81.46 kilo yojanas. This is 81.46. And from here to here, add 11 more. So 29 plus 11, 40. So 50 square minus 40 square and square root into 2. 5 square minus 4 square, 24 minus 16, 9. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 times 2, 6. 60 kilo, 1000 yojanas. This is 60,000 yojanas from here to here. समझ में आएगा?
Can you go back and validate?
Why validating? See, scriptures always say approximately. They don't say exactly. Huh?
Uttara, they said.
Not Uttara, 10% decrease. From this 10% less, if you take 93 from 10% less, matlab 93 minus 9, how much it will be? 84 na.
Yeah.
But it's actually 81.
Yeah, but here there is a huge difference.
Scriptures never give exact numbers. Okay. They will approximately they'll tell. 10 बोलना easy है ना scripture में. एक छोटा word. What was the word used? Uttara, uttaro, dasha amsha adhikamshena. As you go towards northwise, one after the other are reduced by dasha amsha, 10% less. That is easy to tell. Exact number it may be like 9.8% less. How will you spell in the Sanskrit?
Why is it say decreases?
Decrease na baba.
Okay.
इससे compare करते 10% less है. इससे 10% less है. As you go towards north.
Okay. Approximately. Yes.
Engineer से यही problem है.
No, I'm just trying to validate.
Generally one should say that I want to understand. I want to validate. Matlab he has become the judge.
No.
You want to judge Bhagavatam?
एक सेंटीमीटर इतना स्पीड बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रहता है.
Krishna. Yes, we need people like you.
Why I was actually asking, there are multiple ways. Now you have taken one assumption that the mean of the mountain.
Not assumption. That is how you have to measure. You need to measure in the middle of the mountain only.
No, but understanding. Okay, Shastras might have taken another definition.
No, not like that. Shastras only take middle only. Because later on it comes.
Okay.
For Manasutra mountain, the distance 15.75, it is to the middle of the Manasutra mountain.
Okay.
It is to the middle only, not to the beginning or end.
I was thinking that if that numbers would match, if you take the references.
No, it won't match.
Okay.
Scriptures always say approximate numbers.
Hmm.
The scriptures use pi value to be 3.
Hmm.
Pi is always used as 3 only in the scriptures. 3.14 to write or spell will be difficult. It's okay. Scriptures are not interested in the
Mathematics.
not mathematics. Not interested in the exact pointer values. They focus on the integers only. जो भी pointer है truncate करते हैं.
And then astronomical calculations we need to make it accurate.
Bhagavatam is not meant to give you astronomy.
Seriously.
There it will be accurate. Here it is only giving you general information. What Sukadev Goswami told.
General.
आपको सब बोलना है तो ब्रह्मा का लाइफ स्पैन देना पड़ता है.
Very
परीक्षित महाराज के पास कितना समय है?
less.
हाँ.
7 days.
तो उतना समय में 7 days में कितना बोलने का, उसमें ये कितना बोलने का, तो क्या बोलेंगे? सब विश्व साइंटिस्ट नहीं होता है. So it's like that. Generally, scriptures all they use nearby round figure. Even our Tulsidas in his Ramcharitmanas or Hanuman Chalisa, whatever we call, he also mentioned that Hanumanji looking at the sun early in the morning, he thought it is a fruit. He jumped, na? The distance which he jumped to catch sun. He says that Juga Sahasra Yojana. Juga Sahasra Yojana Parbanu Lilyotahi Madhura Phala Janu. Thinking that it would be Madhura Phal, in order to eat, he jumped across. कितना दूर jump किया उन्होंने? Juga Sahasra Yojana. Yojana is the measurement unit. Sahasra is 1000. Juga in Vedic terminology, Yuga means one Chatur Yuga, one Divya Yuga. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali, all 4 put together is called Yuga. So in Devata years, one Chatur Yuga is equal to 12,000 Devata years. So that number is used. So Juga means 12,000 Devata years into Sahasra is 1000. 12,000 into 1000. How much it will be?
12,000 into 1,000.
Juga Sahasra matlab kya?
1,20,000.
Dasha Sahasra matlab 10 into 1000. 12,000 into 1000. 12 million yojanas. Approximately say the distance between the earth and sun is 12 million yojanas. But actually it is 11.65 million yojanas. So in order to write 11.65 in a small phrase will be difficult in Sanskrit. So they take closest round figure. 12. Same way for pi also. In order to write 3.1456 in the Sanskrit words, it will be too difficult. So they say 3. It will be easy. It's okay. Thoda idhar udhar aage piche. Scriptures are not into details. They are into principles or essence. Details is analysis. Leads to paralysis. Essence leads to journey back to Godhead. So you want details or you want to go back to Godhead? Kramukti is not for devotees, that is for yogis. So you want to become devotee or yogi? Next question.
After this session, we will become devotee.
ऐसा नहीं
As
हो
long as we are here, then we will become.
ऐसा नहीं होता है. शुरू से डिवोटी रहना चाहिए तो योगी रहना चाहिए. ऐसा बीच बीच में इधर उधर घूम नहीं सकते. इधर से जंप नहीं कर सकते. Yeah. Similarly, south of Ilavrita Varsha, in the southern side of the Ilavrita Varsha, extending from east to west, there are 3 great mountains named Nishada, Hemakuta and Himalaya. Each of them is 10,000 yojanas high. The height of the mountain is 10,000 yojanas. The width of the mountain is 2,000 yojanas. Length of the mountains are, the first one is 93.3 thousand, 81.46 thousand, 60,000. These are the lengths of the 3 mountains. Okay, you got all the information. Each of them is 10,000 yojanas high, similar to Neela and rest. They mark the boundaries of 3 varshas named Harivarsha, Kimpurusha Varsha and Bharata Varsha. So in the north 3 varshas and 3 mountains. In the south 3 varshas and 3 mountains. There are 10,000 yojanas. They are 10,000 yojanas in high. Neela and other mountains to the north. Ilavrita in the north of Ilavrta are same height. The width of these mountains is same as Nila mountain. They mark the boundaries respectively of the Varshas. And then similarly, in the west and east of Ilavrta Varsha, there are two great mountains named Malevan and Gandhamadana. In the west side there is Malevan, in the east side there is Gandhamadana. These two mountains, which are 10,000 yojanas high, extend as far as the Nila mountain in the north and Nishada mountain in the south. They produce the boundaries of the Varshas known as Ketumala and Bhadrashva. And the two Varshas in the east and west are Ketumala and Bhadrashva. So thus, the mountains in the west and east direction, Malevan and Gandhamadana, extend in length to Nila in the north and Nishada in the south. They are 34,000 yojanas in length. The length of these two mountains is 34,000. The Ilavrta Varsha is 34,000, na? So that much. In line from south to north, Bharata, Kimpurusha and Harivarsha are 20,000 yojanas. 9,000 each, na? 9,000 plus 9,000 plus 9,000, 27,000. The three mountains, Himalaya, Hemakut and Nishada, each 2,000 would be 6,000. Okay? 27 plus 6, 34. And Ilavrta is 34. Sorry, 27 plus 6 is 33. Ilavrta is 34. Ramyaka, Hiranmaya and Kuru is 27. Neela, Shweta, Shringavan are 6. Total will be 100,000 yojanas. From north to south, bottom to top, total width length is 100,000 yojanas. Similarly, from west to east, Bhadrashva is 31, Sumeru and Ilavrta are 34, and Ketumala is 31, Gandhamadana and Malevan are 2,000 each, so total 4,000. So 31 plus 31 plus 34 plus 4, total 100,000 yojanas. So this was the picture we saw first. Now all the information came, and now we see. In the north, there are 3 mountains and 3 varshas. In the south, there are 3 mountains, 3 varshas. In the east, 1 mountain, 1 varsha. In the west, 1 mountain, 1 varsha. In the middle, there is Mount Meru and Ilavrta Varsha. These are the 9 varshas and 9 dvipas within Jambhudvipa. Sorry, 9 varshas and 9 mountains within Jambhudvipa.
The directions which you have stated.
Yeah, good question. We will discuss that. It comes in the next slide. So this is the picture. This is like good looking picture. These are like mountain is in the mountain shape. Kuru Varsha, Hiranmaya Varsha, Ramyaka Varsha, all these things. This is Ilavrta Varsha. About Ilavrta Varsha comes later in the Bhagavatam. We will discuss that. Here to here 34. This is 2,000. This is 9,000. This is 2,000. This is 9,000. This is 2,000. This is 9,000. They are there here. Similarly, this is 2,000, 9,000, 2,000, 9,000, 2,000, 9,000. So, and here to here total 100,000. And here to here 31,000. This is 2,000. Here to here 34,000. This is 2,000. This is 31,000. All this put together is 100,000 yojanas. So all measurements are indicated with the respective divisions within Jambhudvipa.
So these 2 mountains.
Which 2 mountains? Gandhamadana, Malavan.
So they उसको मतलब ऊपर नीला माउंटेन एंड निषादा माउंटेन को ऐसा ज्वाइन करते हुए
इधर निषादा इधर नीला इधर हियर से इधर तक जाते हैं, इधर से इधर तक जाता है, बीच में रहता है,
मिलता है.
इसलिए their length is 34,000 only. The length of these 2 mountains is from here to 34,000. This is 93,000. This is 81,000. This is 60,000.
So this the whole Jambhudvipa, Brahmaji can see.
Yes. ब्रह्मा जी कैन सी आराम से, हम नहीं देख सकते, हमको दिव्य चक्षु चाहिए. दिव्यम ददाते चक्षु पश्चिमे योगम ऐश्वर्यम. इस भगवान का योग ऐश्वर्य. If you want to see, you also ask Krishna, give me divya chakshu, let me want to see.
And he can see the activities of each living entity.
Brahmaji sees the activity of each living entity. Okay, there comes Ilavrta Varsha, that we will discuss tomorrow, not today. Where was that? I did not add that. I'll add that tomorrow. Yeah. This is about Jambhudvipa. We'll stop here, getting late. It's too much time. We'll continue tomorrow. See, when you take the entire Jambhudvipa, entire universe appears to be like that picture. Just we'll go back. With that, we'll close for today. This is for this one picture backward. So, our entire universe, in order to help us understand how the universe is, this analogy is given in the Bhagavatam. Our universe is like a lotus coming out of the water pond. So, this is like water pond, lotus is coming. So, what do you mean by universe? There is a universal shell within which there is a Garbhodaka ocean filling the lower part of the ocean universe, and just above that there is a lotus coming up. The lotus will have three parts: lotus leaf, lotus stem, lotus flower. The leaf is compared to Boloka. The stem is compared to Borloka, Sargaloka. The flower is compared to Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. And 7 lower planet systems are there inside the lotus leaf. That's why they are called Bila Swargas. Bila means caves, Bil. They are inside the lotus leaf like 7 caves. So like that. That if you take like this is our universe. The lower half is Garbhodaka ocean, upper half is ether. In the middle there is a lotus leaf, stem in the middle, flower in the top. This is our universe situated. But currently we are discussing about Bhuloka, which is one of the middle of the 14 planetary systems. And Bhuloka is the flat terrain like the lotus leaf. From the top, when you see, it looks like a circular thing. Under circular Bhumandala, Privarta Maharaj created 7 circular oceans, by which that one Bhumandala divided into 7 circular islands. Of the 7 circular islands, the middle one is Jambhudvipa, whose diameter is 100,000 yojanas. Within that, there are 8 mountains which are dividing that entire Ilavrata Varsha into 9, entire Jambhudvipa into 9 Varshas. So we just saw what are the names of those 9 Varshas and what are the names of those 8 mountains, what are the shapes, what are the dimensions, etc. That is for today. And tomorrow, we will discuss about Ilavrata Varsha, more details, and then we'll move on with that. గ్రంథరా శ్రీమద్ భాగవతం కి శిల ప్రభుపాద్ కి అనంత కోటి వైష్ణవ భక్తులందరికీ జై.